is all about people who have a disability, celebrating differences.
So they'll also get a better understanding.
Well, we go to different schools and talk about Spinclusion.
We were working in schools in inclusive classroom settings, and what we realized was in the younger grades, children were naturally inclusive. So kindergarten to about grade 4 or 5, children with disabilities were being included at recess, right? Birthday parties, and so on. And around grade 5, 6, 7, there started to be a shift, and kids with disabilities were not being included in the same way. So we tried to come up with a fun and interesting way of getting children and youth thinking about being more inclusive. But the more we played, the more we realized that it's not just about including children and youth with disabilities, but it's including all people. So we expanded the game to include questions around cultural differences, newcomer issues, LGBTQ as well. So kind of the whole gamut of what might make somebody be perceived as being different. We have a kids version, which is grade 2 to 4, and then we have a youth version, which is grade 5 and up, and we just added an adult version that can be played with teachers, boards of directors, staff teams, and so on.
It's an inclusive classroom. There's people with many different abilities in the class. There's a lot of differentiating that goes on and a lot of support needed between students as well as staff members. Spinclusion, really, the game is great because it's getting people really thinking about how different abilities and different people's feelings and how just including people in general is needed.
What did you learn today, Kyle?
To include people.
To include people. Excellent. Filippo, what did you learn today while playing Spinclusion?
I learned to include others even though they have differences.
There's a good message that you all are sending across, which is to celebrate differences, which children I think normally don't do. The minute they find somebody different, they think, it's an opportunity for them to, have fun at that child's expense. So when they're shown a different way of handling situations like this, I think they begin to understand that being different is being okay, and that it's nice for you to include children who are different and treat them just like you would treat anyone else.
We talk about the impact of the R word, what it feels like, why it's hurtful, why it's not okay to use the R word, right? Not just about not calling somebody the R word, but just using it in general conversation as well, why that is not okay.
I think it's hurtful for somebody to hear the R word if they have a disability, because every human being on this earth is equal and nobody should be treated like badly just because they don't have a quality somebody else has.
Focus on people's abilities. That means we want you to, from BC to Newfoundland to Nunavut, got to take Spinclusion across the entire country, and every organization that participated in training left with a free Spinclusion game. So it was 113 partnerships that we made. So each of those facilitators goes out and plays Spinclusion only once in a year, right, across the country. Look at the number of children that are being exposed to these inclusive concepts. You can download all the game pieces directly from the website. So from the spinner to the board to the posters to all the questions to all the different parts of the game, you can actually just download right off that website. So this is going to stay in your classroom, and it's going to remind you of all the things that we talked about today.